Thank you, Miss Iman. Now we're moving on to our second to last talk. The next speaker is a student in grade 11. She's been at ACS since 2008. She was actually the last speaker to approach the TEDx curation team saying that she wanted to tell her story today. And she still championed through the extremely tight deadlines and tight timelines to come here today, like it was nobody's business. It's my privilege and pleasure to welcome Judy Hammoud for Champion Your Imperfections.
The first time I spoke to a group of about 60 people was in 6th grade during an MUN conference. I've never really been interested in MUN, but my parents kind of forced me into it, so I did it. I prepared myself so much in advance for that conference. I thought I couldn't be more ready to participate. But I couldn't bring myself to speak for the entire day. Every time I had something to say, my mind would suddenly fill with doubts. I just kept thinking to myself, am I going to stutter? What if I say something wrong? I shouldn't be here. I don't belong here. I just want to go home. But I knew that I was stuck in the situation and I had to bring myself to speak. It was what was expected of me from everyone else. To say something. Anything would work, but nothing came out. My body would stiffen and I felt trapped. Towards the end of the conference, my teacher decided to put me on the spot and ask me to make a comment, give my input. All eyes fell on me. I felt like I couldn't breathe. I felt powerless over my own body. I slowly stood and faced the crowd, and I stuttered. A lot. I don't even think my point got across, even though I was reading off of a document. I had a kid ask me at the end if I was dyslexic. They felt the need to label me somehow. Maybe it was a way of making themselves feel more comfortable. Anyways, I went home that night and cried myself to sleep and faked being sick for my next conference. Looking back at this incident years later, I realized that I just wasn't ready to speak in front of that many people. I wasn't mentally prepared. But now, choosing to give this talk was my own choice. I didn't even tell my parents about it until I knew what I wanted to do, because I was doing this for me and no one else, because I am choosing to put down my shield. I'm choosing to challenge myself, and I'm choosing to grow. Hi, my name is Judy Hammoud, and you may not know me, but if you do, you might have heard or realized that I have a stutter when I speak. This is something I've had with me my entire life, and I've grown not to be ashamed of it anymore. So I'm here to tell my story. In my life, I haven't come across many people who have a stutter. So I don't expect all of you to relate with me on this fact, but what I have witnessed many times are people who are afraid to express themselves, to speak up in front of others. They hide behind this wall that they created, acting as a shield that they think is protecting them, when it really only harms them. and doesn't let them achieve their true potential. They try so hard to stop themselves from getting hurt, when it's that pain that allows you to learn and to grow. I'm here to tell you that I am one of those people, or at least was. I was diagnosed with a mild stutter at 5 years old when I was in KG2. My teachers noticed it and told my parents, and they freaked out. It was something completely unexpected, and they tried so hard to get me to speak fluently and comfortably. So I ended up going to a speech therapist for about 4 years, which did help because I learned some speaking techniques. But at that point in my life, I didn't really mind that my stutter was there. It didn't have an effect on how I spoke to people. However, things changed when I moved in 4th grade. The environment was so different, and I'm a relatively shy person, so making this big change was very difficult for me. I had established a sense of comfort at home, and it all vanished. It took me the first year to make a few friends who I was comfortable with, who I could confidently speak in front of. But the people I didn't know very well, I had a very difficult time talking to. Everyday conversations felt like a burden. I felt like I wasn't an asset to things, but more an obstacle that people just had to deal with. There was even this one time where I was just trying to tell my friend something. But because I couldn't fluently utter the words out of my mouth, they told me to, quote, speak like a normal person. We are growing up in a generation that makes it a necessity to fit under specific circumstances, to be normal. But I think being different is important because my differences define who I am, and I'm proud of them. Don't shy away from them. Wear them. Embrace them. I decided that this year I wanted to make a change. I couldn't live the rest of my life hiding from the world. So I started going to therapy. I relived all my past wounds and just healed them. I can't express to you how amazing this shift in my thinking felt. My body felt so much lighter. My brain was so less overworked. The fear of stuttering was based on the lack of self-confidence I had for myself. You may realize that now I can speak to you easily, and that's because I stopped caring what other people thought and gained that confidence. That's why I believe it's truly the key to overcoming your challenges. I was even able to make so many accomplishments, like speaking comfortably in front of my class, or ordering my family's food at a restaurant. Now, to some of you, these may seem like small, silly things that you easily accomplish in your everyday lives. But to me, they mean the world because I wasn't able to do them in the past. They gave me hope that I could do so much more than I ever thought capable of myself. I know I'm lucky that my case of stuttering stood to a mild extent. There are a lot of people out there who have it more severe. And my heart goes out to them because they are such strong people who don't deserve to be judged. Ultimately, the more differences you have, the more unique you are. At the end of the day, you are the only permanent thing in your life. Everything else is temporary. So stop taking yourself for granted. Give yourself credit for your accomplishments. Champion your imperfections. Once you embrace this attitude, the more meaningful your life will be, the happier you'll become. You are the one who decides your future. You are the one in control. What's your next move?
Thank you, Judy. We're now on to our final talk of the day. This speaker said that he wanted